Here's your wrestling news for January 16th, 2023. And we're kicking off with WWE. And when Vince McMahon retired from WWE last July, Triple H wasted no time in undoing some of his father-in-law's decisions and rehired several ex-WWE superstars. Bray Wyatt, Johnny Gargano, Karrion Kross, and Tegan Knox are just some of the names to return to WWE, but just how safe are their jobs now that McMahon is back? Well, according to PW Insider's Dave Scherer, not very, as he gave a very foreboding warning when asked by a fan whether McMahon would undo any of Triple H's rehirings. If he does, and I say if because I don't want to assume he'll take over creative since it would really hurt my enjoyment of the company, yes, everyone who he saw nothing in before, he probably won't see anything in at that time. Bray Wyatt's future with WWE is likely to be in serious doubt, as prior to his July 2021 release, it was said that he and McMahon had been at odds for months over his creative direction. We should stress that McMahon's return does not guarantee any more mass releases, and that Scherer emphasized that this is likely, but by no means certain, but as chairman, it'll be Vince who decides who stays and who goes. So what would happen if McMahon decided to undo all his son-in-law's work? Well, one theory is that it could lead to Triple H's exit from WWE. As AEW has proven, there is a market for non-WWE content in the United States, and many believe that the game would start something outside the promotion. When Scherer was asked about the possibility of Triple H departing WWE, he said it's not even close to being likely, but did not rule out the idea entirely. Scherer explained that it would take McMahon doing something really heinous, such as selling to the Saudi Arabia Public Investment Fund, and added that the bad PR would make WWE a leper in the US. Scherer speculated that if this happened, then he could see Triple H and Stephanie going to NBC Universal and pitching their own startup company with them. To many, WWE being sold to Comcast, the parent company of NBC Universal, makes the most sense, as WWE has been with NBCU's USA Network for decades. Like with the possible releases we discussed earlier, it'll be Vince McMahon's decision as to which potential offer WWE accepts as part of a sale, but the chairman should think long and hard about the ramifications of who he is selling to. When Vince McMahon retired last July, it came amid an investigation into his hush money payments, as well as a documentary being made about the billionaire. In 2020, WWE announced that they were teaming with Netflix and Bill Simmons to produce the doc, but fans naturally assumed it was shelved when McMahon stepped down. That isn't the case, as on his podcast, Simmons himself spoke about the project and said that he is still working on it. Simmons added that the massive docuseries keeps evolving and spoke about how McMahon turned one of the many local promotions in the territory days into the biggest wrestling company to ever exist. For 5 months, fans thought the Vince McMahon story had ended in disgrace with his retirement, but McMahon is back to write the final chapter himself, and with everything that has happened, Bill Simmons and Netflix have plenty of new material to work on. In the final SmackDown of 2022, John Cena made his return to WWE, teaming with Kevin Owens to defeat Roman Reigns and Sami Zayn. Backstage, Cena was making dreams come true for children as part of the Make-A-Wish Foundation, but that's not all he was doing. Fightful Select reports that in addition to what we saw on TV, Cena filmed a segment backstage with US champion Austin Theory, though it is unclear what exactly happened in this segment. We do know that WWE wanted to make sure this segment was filmed, as Theory had initially been scheduled to compete at a live event in Toronto against Seth Rollins, but was instructed to make the trip to Tampa for SmackDown. News of this segment has reopened speculation about Cena's plans for WrestleMania, as it was initially believed that he would be facing Theory until reports came out that the plan is for Logan Paul to take on the 16-time WWE World Champion. Fans had to wait for over a year after Cena's SummerSlam 2021 match to see him wrestle again, but who he'll be facing this April remains to be seen. But who do you want John to face? Theory, Paul, or someone else entirely? Let us know in the comments. After Retribution split in 2021, the character of Mace went through a dramatic transformation, becoming a fashion model and part of the Maximum Male Models stable. Unfortunately for fans of Mace, he hasn't been seen in quite some time, and now WWE has confirmed that he is indeed missing. On Twitter, the official Mace account noted that the runway model was last seen on January 4th, and this post was retweeted by the official WWE account. Fans were also invited to use the hashtag Where's Mace, which makes it clear that this is just a fun storyline and that the wrestler in question is not actually missing. The missing persons poster also had some fun, with his eye color being described as captivating and his identifying features including the phrase, "skin smooth like a dolphin." Wherever Mace is, Maxine Dupree, Mansois, and the fans are looking for him and expect this storyline to continue on TV. Now, it wasn't too long ago that a report came out stating that WWE wasn't interested in signing indie talent and would be focusing on their homegrown stars as part of the NIL program. That is no longer the case thanks to Triple H being appointed head of talent relations, and now a name the game has been after for some time is on his way to WWE. Fightful Select reports that Colby Corino is coming to WWE after his deal with the NWA expired last month. The 26-year-old won the NWA Championship Series tournament in 2021, and as Fightful explained, WWE were not legally able to contact him until his deal with the NWA was up. Like the William Regal situation, Colby's signing will allow him to spend more time with his father, Steve Corino, as the former NWA and ECW World Champion now works as a trainer and producer in NXT. The younger Corino is expected to report to WWE's Performance Center in Orlando when the time is right, and we'll have to see how the ex-NWA star fares as a WWE NXT superstar. Over to AEW now, as Aubrey Edwards has called countless matches for the promotion and has been part of some of the biggest title changes in the company's history. This past Friday saw Edwards officiate the bloody war that saw Anna Jay and Ty Mello face Ruby Soho and Willow Nightingale, but not everyone was pleased with her work. During the match, Soho was busted open and blood continued to gush so that by the time of the end of the match, the former superstar was drenched. On Twitter, former WWE senior official Scott Armstrong gave his 2 cents on the match and criticized Edwards for not checking in on Soho given how much she was bleeding. Despite the blood, Soho and Nightingale got the win, with Ruby hitting her Destination Unknown finisher on Mello to get the pinfall victory. While WWE often has referees and officials check on any blood loss, AEW does things much different to their much bigger competitor. But do you think Edwards should have stepped in? Let us know in the comments. On last week's Dynamite, the Elite regained the AEW Trios titles from Death Triangle in an emotional win for Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks. As the new champions, the question now is who they will face first, and Maria Kanellis Bennett has a very interesting suggestion. Responding to a tweet from AEW asking that very same question, Maria said it should be the Kingdom, which seems like an odd choice as there are currently only 2 male members of the team, Mike Bennett and Matt Taven. What more knowledgeable fans picked up, though, is that there is technically a 3rd member in AEW, as the Kingdom was actually founded in 2014 by Adam Cole. With Cole making his return to AEW on last week's show, this could be a tease that he'll be aligning with Taven and the Bennetts soon in what will be quite the trio in Tony Khan's company. And we're ending today with Impact Wrestling, as there's a new authority figure in town, and his name is Santino Marella. After WWE let their trademark on that name lapse, Impact were quick to snatch it up, and Marella debuted at Hard to Kill 2023 last Friday. In an update on social media, Impact confirmed that Marella will be sticking around as he has signed a deal with the promotion. Marella is filling in for Impact veteran Scott D'Amore, who was put on the shelf by an attack by Bully Ray, and it'll now be the hilarious Santino making the big decisions on Impact programming.